So we'll be on in less than a minute. Really excited about tonight. On in let Here we go. Welcome. Welcome to Medical Mondays with Dr. O. Geez, we took 2 weeks off. Never happened before. And I think our people are still warming up to, oh, I need to be on Medical Mondays with Dr. O. But, we'll start and, they'll be joining us as we proceed, as we go on. This month happens to be Domestic Violence Month and also Breast Cancer Month. And because we took those 2 weeks off, which, I should tell you, Medical Mondays family, I think we represented you very well at Madam VP's daughter's wedding in California. It was amazing. It was just beautiful. And I have tons of witnesses here to support the fact that it was a beautiful wedding and we had an amazing time and represented you well. So now we're back, and I'm not sure how this night will go. I think it's a sweet, sweet savour it's going to be. We met our speaker exactly this time a year ago in October, um, Commissioner Nkechi Uzoegwu. At that time, she had gone through domestic violence and then had a man who just would not leave her alone. And Medical Mondays family, thank you, because we stepped up and did the needful. And today she's back to give us feedback on what has happened during the year. Without much ado, I'm going to yield the floor to one of our very own family member of Medical Mondays with Dr. O, Commissioner Dr. Nkechi Uzoegwu. The floor is yours and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Exactly 1 year that I met everyone on this platform when I came to share my story. I'm so grateful to all of you. And today I'm here to speak again in the month of domestic violence, which is October, to share some light about where I am today. And also, I have a topic that I want everyone to know. These are some things that I myself experienced, and I want us to all put head together and see how we can all make a change. So today's topic is when silence hurts, the price of not believing victim. Ending the stigma, the shame, the disbelief around domestic violence. So good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, community leaders, fellow advocates. It is an honor to stand before you today as we mark Domestic Violence Awareness Month under this theme, when silence hurts, the price is not believing the victim. Introduction. Across the world, countless victims of domestic violence continues to suffer in silence. Many are not silent by choice, but by fear, shame, disbelief, cultural pressure. When victims finally find the courage to speak, they are too often to meet the word, "Are you sure?" You must have provoked it, or keep it private. In the moment of doubt, silence wins. The abuser gets more power. In this introduction, I will try and share one example. In each slide, I will give you an example. Most of the time, we victim of domestic violence, We tend to meet men that has more power. They know what they're doing, but they don't want people to know what they are doing. They tend to want to keep it secret. And the thing there is, most of them will be so nice outside, and you see them very quiet, and but inside, they abuse this woman, and people will never believe that woman because some of them do have power. They think they have power or more credibility. The reality of disbelief, not believing the victim, is one of the most dangerous form of secondary abuse. Every time we question the victim's story, dismiss their pain, or tell them to endure for the sake of family, repetition, the strengthening the circle of the, the violence. Many cultures believe about marriage, gender roles, and respect for elders often make it harder for victims, especially women, to be heard. Many fear being judged, rejected, labeled disgracefully. Some even lost their home, their job, their sense of identity just for speaking out. All this, I'll give you an example of what I went through. The price of silence. When we choose not to believe victim, we protect the abuser. Instead of holding them accountable, we perpetrate trauma, leaving survivors feeling isolated and hopeless. We teach the next generation that violence is normal and silence is strength. The price of silence is not only emotional, it is life-threatening. Too many lives have been lost because society refused to listen until it was too late. Many women in Nigeria, not just Nigeria, has died in silence. Myself, by the grace of God, only God saved me and my little boy. Not only that I'm a survivor of domestic violence, I'm a survivor of a stalker. A stalker that was so powerful that could have the guts to get into my house and continue to abuse me and my child until last year before I could speak. I wasn't able to speak. I wasn't able to relate my story to anyone because each time he had a plan. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was up to. And he knows how to share the story. I'm a very, very private person, and that goes to all we women. We don't want our marriage out there. We don't want our relationship out there. But when we are being abused silently, we just keep enduring the word to your mommy or because of my family. And most women has lost their life. Cultural reflection. Our culture values family unity, respect, and endurance. But the value must never be used to justify violence. Must that be? That's something I keep asking myself. Those women that stayed behind and are no more today, most of them would have left, but just because family say, if you leave this man, there's a curse on our family. Your sister, like my own culture, the Igbo land, I'm the first daughter of my parents. And if I had to leave my domestic violence, other men would not be able to marry my junior ones because we are all girls, mostly girls. They say, oh, that's how they do. They run away from their husband. They don't stay in husband house. And it does affect that family one way or the other. But they will never hear the story of what made that woman to leave the marriage. Domestic violence is not a family matter. It is human right violation. Why would a normal man in his right senses hit their wife? Why would a normal man tell a woman that if you refuse me, you have no right to say no, I'll make life miserable for you? Why would a man control a woman so bad that the way he controls a woman is by beating and hitting? And when they finish hitting you, they still want you to cook and not share your story anywhere. Why would a woman beat a woman, his wife, and have the guts to call the police on that woman just because he wants to protect himself and say, oh, my wife is mentally sick, because he knows if that woman says anything, he'll be arrested. Wow. Hmm. We must create a new culture, mindset. We are believing victims and holding abusers accountable are seen as an act of love. Yes, act of love. That's what I want us to all do in this group. Medical Monday is a strong group. I'm going to tell you this because Medical Monday changed my own life, changed the life of me and my son, changed the life of me and my son. So I'm going to let you know that the shame should not be there when we are telling our story. No woman will want to lie against a man that they are married to. I will tell you this, and I'm speaking from experience. No woman will want to do that. Ending the stigma. To end the stigma, we must all listen. One, listen without judgment when someone shares their story. Create a safe space in the community, church, mosques, and workplace for victims to speak, to seek help. Train leaders, police officers, and teachers should recognize and respond to domestic violence signs. Do we do that? No. What we do in most of our culture is when somebody shares their story, you're going to hear the other women. Ah, Mbokwe Jamanio. She doesn't have respect. She has open eye. They brought her to America. Now she's open eye. She's done this. My God. You don't know what is happening in that house. That woman is sharing her story. For a woman to share her story, I'm going to tell you this. I know that for the fact that it is not one, it is not two, it is not three. That woman has gone through hell before she can speak out. Because we women, we are very secretive. We don't want people to know what is going on in our marriage. But when a woman speak and share their story, some women will just seclude that woman. They just isolate that woman and stay away from that woman. Not want to talk to her. Is that fair? Is that how we want to continue living? Support survivors with counseling, legal aid, and empower program. I will come back and share my story how I was not able to be empowered by this man, not even the father of my child, that was secretly abusing me for years just because I said no. No, what, he wasn't even abusing me alone, he was abusing my child emotionally, psychologically, and showing me how powerful he was. This I know would not happen in Nigeria, but in America, it did happen because my fellow Nigerians would mind their business. They will not come in there. What's my business? See, I used to see them stand together. But because I stand together with somebody, or I took a picture together with somebody, does not mean that person is my boyfriend or my husband. This has taught me a lesson. A lot of people did not believe me. My Nigerian people here did not believe me. I had to isolate myself, living in so much fear. I will tell you the fear even led me to, I'm not afraid to say this in public. I had to teach my young boy at the age of 9 how to use a gun. I had to teach him how to use a gun to protect me and him because nobody was believing us. Using our voices to challenge the narrative of that silence equals strength. And that was what I did last year, October 8th. I would never forget. Last year, 1 year. That last year, I was so much in pain. This guy had so much power that nobody could even listen to me. Everybody was staying away from me because he knows how to share the story. And
If I may interject, was that the domestic violent husband or your stalker?
my stalker, my stalker,
You have to differentiate. So
my
audience can
stalker,
get
okay,
this, please,
but
because
my
that's different.
stalker, yeah. My ex did his case is quite different. But this stalker, it's all abuse. It's all violence against women. I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak. I couldn't share my story. I couldn't. I couldn't in any way. Ah, yeah. Call to action today. Let us all become believers, supporters, and protectors of those who has been silent for so long. There are so many women, so many women, even men. I'm not saying men are not being abused, but it's less. Huh? Let us pledge that no violent crime, victim cries for help and will be ignored again. Together we can break the cycle of the stigma and bring light to the healing pain and build a community where every survivor is heard and believed and healed. It took me time. I'm not healed yet. I'll tell you I'm not healed yet because my case was over 10 years. Silently, I couldn't find help. Ron here, he's there. My stalker was everywhere. He was very credible. He knew what he was doing. He knew how to get at me. You understand? He knew it. And he knows how to share the story to people and make people believe that, oh no, I helped this lady. I bought the house. I did this. And this is a man that I've never been to his house. We never dated. We don't have any relationship. He's not the father to my child, but he was secretly abusing me. Even the police would not listen to me. So then a call to action, believe survivors. So speak out against abuse. That's one thing about our culture, Nigerians. Please, not even Nigerians too, other people. Like America, people tend to mind their business a lot. We tend to mind our business a lot. Say, I could come here, say family me. But then that person is dying. See, when that person died, then you now contribute money and say, oh, I'm going to help the family. But when that person need that help, did you help? Did you help? Stop justifying violence as cultural thing. No, it's okay for a man to beat a woman. No, it is not okay. It is not. Even in the Bible, it says that we are created equal. We are. But we need to respect our men. But men should also respect that woman. Respect is reciprocal. Must you beat the woman that has a child for you or hit them? Stand with victim, not with silence. Some people will say, tàbá sọ̀rọ̀ sí yìí o, bàbá lágbájá máa bínú ni. Pé kí bàbá
English,
lágbájá
English,
sọ̀rọ̀.
English, please.
You
English,
understand?
please.
Okay. We don't want him to say we should. He will tell us to mind our business, right? But then we can all talk to this man. By the time I want to share with you guys, I want to really tell you guys this. Men that do things like this, they don't want people to expose them. When they find out that you've exposed them, they tend to stop somehow. They tend to stay away. Some will finally stay away, or some will finally stop if you keep talking about it. But the minute you're not saying anything to help that woman, I know that man will grow in it and to look as if it's a right for him to do that. Every voice matter, every life counts. Every life counts in one way or the other. If we can empower that woman, if we can find a way to help that woman, instead of you helping that woman when that woman has gone. Wow. So at this point, I'm going to share a little bit of story of myself, why I think I chose this topic. The reason why I chose this topic, I'm going to state that one by one on this page. Listening without judgment. I was judged a lot by people, not just by people, my family. Was it my domestic violence? My ex was the most quiet, tall, handsome, quiet man that read engineering. And he was very quiet. Everybody sees him the most quiet person. He would not say anything. Even I was surprised when I started living with him that he could do what he did. But when I go to my family or talk to his friends, they were like, no, he's not like that now. He's a quiet person. He can't do that. He can't do that. I was judged so much that I couldn't speak. The one that really baffled me, I would never forget that date, was February 9, 2006, after I had my child for him, my only child. This guy did something and I said something and he used his nail to bash my eye. This is a tall 6'4" guy. And then this guy had I just ran into the room, I ran away inside our house in Virginia. And the next day I had a black eye. And he knows too well that he's in the military, he was going to be arrested. What did he do? He had the guts to call the cops on me that I was mentally insane just to cover himself. When I called my parents, well, they said, it's a lie. You must have said something. You were rude to him. You know, you have a big mouth. No, I don't have big mouth. Just because I said he did something wrong, I couldn't find anyone to help me. And we lived in a very secluded area where we have a lot of, it's a white neighborhood in Chesapeake. You know, Chesapeake's like a secluded place. No bus, nowhere to run to. Even when I tried to run away, I couldn't, right? I was judged. I was seriously judged. Create a safe place. Nigerians, we can find a way to have a domestic violence place for our women. A lot of us are dying in churches, in mosques, place where we can hide our people instead of us dying. There's a lot of us that have died through domestic violence. In LA, man dragged his wife, killed his wife, and was dragging his wife on. Yeah, another man shot his wife and even have the guts to call the police. Can we ask ourselves why this is continue to happen and we are not helping our women? Right? Train leaders, police officers. I have that problem. The police officers here doesn't understand the culture of Nigeria. That made it very difficult for me to get help. Yes, they didn't understand our culture. And that's something one day, one
Mm.
way or the other, I'm going to find a way to do that in the community where I am as a commissioner to see how the police department in my city will travel to Nigeria to understand how domestic violence is and our culture, right? That puts me at edge because this individual was a city worker. Let me tell you the difference between our police and the police here a little bit. The police in Nigeria is being held by, like, they have their own department, Nigerian Police Force. But the police here is under the city, under the local governments, the city, right? The mayor. And this individual happens to be, my stalker happens to be somebody that works with the city and he understands the system more than I do. I didn't even know that before because that doesn't happen in Nigeria. The local government chairman has nothing to do with the area commander. The area commander answers to the commissioner of police of that state, and the commissioner oversees the state, right? I didn't have a headway with this individual because he knows all their language. But stylishly, I started learning the language and I had to stay calm for years and stay quiet until when I had the time to speak. Teachers to recognize and respond to this compassionately. You talking to someone and telling them that you're going through domestic violence rather than them helping you or seeing how to help you, rather they are neglecting you. They are labeling you. Oh, but can't you see the way she's walking? Can't you see the way she's shouting? Can't you see her eyes is red? Yes, a woman's eyes are red because she's crying all the night, thinking of how she's going to run away, thinking of how things will work out for her so she will not be beaten again. But we, other people, instead of we trying to be compassionate with that person, we say, oh, she's dressing this way. She's putting blue and green. Who would not do that when you are going through domestic violence? A man beating you, or a man stalking you, a man making you lose your job. You're not in your right senses at that time. You're not. You're not. Support survivors. Listen to them. Find a way to find counseling, legal aid. I mean, no man in this country, when they hear legal, they will stand out straight. But yes, because they know that when legal comes in, they are in trouble. They are. As a group, let's empower these women. I will tell you this, most of our women, they are come here. Some of them came through their husband. And maybe a man that has been here for so long and has a document and this woman does not have document. Some men will take your green card and put it away just because they know that someday you start knowing and start seeing light. And they might even, some will even tell you, if you do anything, I'll let them send you back to Nigeria. Use all that to threaten you. Some would even make you, oh wow, enslave you. The one that really annoys me is when an old man that is 60 something will go and marry a 20 something year old girl and bring them here to become nurse. And that man will stop working. And this woman will work all days. Even the money that she's getting is that man that is having to check how many hours and how much she makes. And that woman start talking, that's a problem. And she can't go anywhere. She doesn't have a family. Like for me, I didn't have a family. I didn't have anybody standing by me who would empower me. So we should try and create a way to empower such women. Empower some of them in one way or the other, help them with business, help them with training so that they can stand on their own and live happily. Some of them can't live because everything they'll tell you joint account. Joint account is good for some people. I'm not telling you that there's every man is bad. I'm not saying that. And that goes to everyone. It's not every woman that is good too, right? But then when things like this start happening and these women at age, how can we empower them? Empowerment program. I remember when my own situation was on, I had several licenses. I have license, notary, rental. I have fingerprinting, state and federal. That could bring money for me, but I couldn't buy that machine because my stalker had every inch to block everything that I was doing. Ah, use our voice. When I mean use our voice, come together as one to help women that are going through all this. Help them with their children, help them in any way. I will tell you this, when you talk of trauma, I went through a lot of trauma when it comes to domestic violence. Even it affected the life of my young boy, my young boy. Each time I remember that, it makes me cry because this boy did not choose this in his life. This is somebody has gone through domestic violence that does not know his biological father. That his father left him when he was 6 months. and I had to train that child. But unfortunately, we ran into a stalker that made my young boy do what? Let go of his education. Somebody that got admission into Ivy League school cannot leave his mother because of safety concern. How many Nigerians were there for me? It is just now that I can speak and talk without crying, right? Many Nigerians were staying away from me. They were staying away from me. They didn't want to have anything to do with me in any way. She'll start talking on, she'll start doing this. So, here today, my closing message to you all before I tell you where I am after 1 year is that silence does not heal. It does not. It hides the wound. When we silent, when we listen, believe, and support, we save lives. Honestly, Medical Monday saved my life. Medical Monday saved my life. I was introduced to Medical Monday. Medical Monday is not where I am. I'm far away. I'm in California. Medical Monday is in Maryland. But just because from one thing or the other, somebody introduced me to this group, and this group changed my life. Together, we can break the stigma and build a community in Nigeria where victims are believed, abusers are accountable, community are safe. Right. So, any question before I share my next story? Thanking you all for what you've done
You
for me.
know, we leave questions till the end of it.
Of ever.
I was trying to, jolt you that let's wrap it up so we can go to questions.
Okay, so today I want to tell you guys, all Medical Monday members, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Last year I was here, October 8th. I was introduced to you all by someone that is a member, and I came to share my story. How I was being stalked, how I was being held in captive quietly. I was placed in a box then, but today I'm no longer placed in a box because Medical Monday stood up for me. I exposed the individual. He stylishly stayed away. He's still being heady, still using the word. No woman tells me no. Any woman that tells me no will make life miserable for this person. Yes, he did, but today he's not. I got my freedom. I was able to complete my program fully, passed my exam, and now I'm in my induction, doing my induction program at a school that I can't mention. I know one way or the other it affected the life of my son from going to the college that he wants to go to. But the good thing is we are still alive. We are not crying like we used to. And that even gave me the courage to travel to Nigeria. For a long time, I have not gone to Nigeria. And I went to Nigeria and also went to Nigeria to make a change, not minding the fact that I'm going through my own problem. But I was able to go to Nigeria to help the people of Mushin. I've always been a leader, but just because of the domestic violence that I was going through, I was placed in a box. I could not speak. But Medical Monday gave me back my power that I could go back to Nigeria and see the community of Mushin that was going through a lot of violence, crisis, killing, and God used me to change the life of the youth in Mushin. Thank you. Any question?
Thank you very much. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for being so open. We are grateful to God that He has brought you a long way, that you are not where you was or where you were, pardon me, last year when we met. But I want to share with our audience, just for clarity, that you went through domestic violence, but left your husband when your son was 6 months old. And it was later in years, a few years later, you met the stalker. The stalker was actually the one that we had to combat, that prevented you from getting a job, moving forward, and all of that. So it's important for our audience to be clear to remember that. And now you mentioned Mushi. I would help you a little bit with our audience even understanding that better. The guys in Mushin were killing each other. They had gangs. The one gang was fighting the other and killing each other, and they reached out to her because they knew her from years before. And at that time, at this time, I would say, um, she has the strength to be able to go and intervene, go into places that, ordinary people cannot just walk in. And she was able to do that and stop the killings. But something came out of that. They have no jobs. It's a big reason why they go into gangs or got into gangs and started killing each other. They had no jobs, but they are willing to learn trades and work. And I was shocked when I saw what it would take to do that. But before we continue with that, Dr. Ogulaye has a hand raised and she's had it raised for a while. So I'm going to call on her. Dr. Ogulaye, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Thank you so much. Um, I just wanted to say that it's not like women don't like to support each other, don't like to stand with each other in times of hardship, such as domestic violence. It's just that it's difficult. Because when you intervene, you, the outsider with a clear eye, clear head, you try to save your fellow woman from domestic violence, you end up being the one accused. Because women undergoing domestic violence sometimes often go back to their abuser.
Yeah.
And then the friend that's trying to help becomes the enemy.
Yeah, that's
They throw accusations such as, oh, you're in your husband's house. You don't want the person to stay in their husband's house. Or, oh, it's because you're not in your husband's house. You're looking for company. You're trying to spoil somebody's marriage. You're trying to put asunder what God has joined together. So statements like that is why a lot of women who have gone through such things just keep away. They just advise, oh, whatever you want to do. And I'm saying this because it's happened to me. I have family members who are undergoing domestic violence that I try to stand by, and some other family members, well, let's forget it, let's solve it, let's save the marriage. They save the marriage, the woman continues to suffer. And when they save the marriage, you that you're saying no, 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 there ought to be a red line. You don't put your life at risk. You now become the person that everybody's pointing fingers at, like you're the devil. So I'm just saying this on behalf of those who have experienced the same thing. And the lady that I helped draw the red line, that went back to the guy, Aburo Mitiani, my younger sister, she finally left the guy. And that's when all the abuse stopped. And thank God she's no longer in the country. But he's still trying to get back with her because he wants to move out too, out of the country, just like her. You know. So that's what I want to say.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And he wants to move or get back to her because he realized what he had lost. And it doesn't mean that it may change. Well, every situation is different. But domestic violence, stalking are the same all over the world. There's no difference.
He's not trying to get back with her because he loves her. It's for
At
the
all.
benefit that he's going to get because she has a child in Nigeria that he doesn't even check up on. His own daughter that he doesn't even check up on. So he doesn't love his own daughter, how much less his wife,
fine.
Yeah.
you know.
That's why I left it hanging
Mhm.
because it has to be case by case. But Again, he wants to get back because he realized what he lost.
Mhm.
The woman obviously must have been amazing, fantastic woman, but he didn't appreciate her. But it goes the same way for men. Last year, we had one of our leaders here who came on Medical Mondays to share with us his story of abuse from his ex-wife. So it goes both ways. Um, our speaker, Commissioner Uzoegwu, had said it all. Getting help is important. Speaking out is important. Silence can be a killer. Keeping it to yourself and hoping that things will change without intervention is not the right way to handle it. It's important if you're going through something like this to please reach out, speak up. There's help. There's counseling that can be had for both parties to see if things can be fixed. And if it can't, there are interventions that will be had to protect you. You should not go through domestic violence or stalking without getting assistance. So, a commissioner has come a long way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, yes, she went through domestic violence, she went through stalking. She's a survivor, and she's still working on being a conqueror. And I pray that by the time she comes back next year, if the Lord permits us, that she would then be a conqueror. Because I heard her clearly when she said she's still working through it. And it's not easy. But it's not the number of years, it's not the 10 years of stalking that matters. It's, how deep the trauma is. And, our prayer for you, as it has been said and prayed in the chat box by Dr. Ajay, is that you are forever liberated and that you will never go back there. He said, you are free forever. That's our prayer for you. So, but in all that you have done, in all that our speaker have done, again, she mentioned it briefly that she went to Mushi and intervened and stopped young ones killing each other. So she also moved beyond that to engage with the appropriate authorities that can train them in different trades. Do you have that
Video.
page you shared
The
with me?
video. No, I
Not
don't
the,
have it.
not, excuse me, not the video.
Mhm.
The page you shared that showed the kinds of trades people can engage in and how much it will cost to train them and to get them to be productive citizens,
Yeah,
and
can
how
I
many
send it?
of them can be trained. You remember that one?
Yeah, yeah. Can I send it to you, ma? So I post there.
No, I can't where I am to be able to put it up. If you can put it up, that would be great. If you can't, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Um, there in there, I saw that they can learn. Can you still try to see if you can put it on because
Yeah,
visual is
I
good.
matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll try. Let me quickly.
Okay. So I saw that they can learn barbing, um, plumbing, building. There are lots of things, traits that they can learn, and they put the number of folks that can be trained in the period of 6 weeks. And then they would also help them to get jobs in that trade. All of it was 7,020,000, 7,200,000 and something thousand naira. which is like 5,000 naira to train almost 400 folks over 6 weeks. So I told her to please, share with us today and see who may want to sponsor, donate, or assist so we can keep that community safe. It goes a long ways. It goes beyond domestic violence or stalking. It's actually changing generations to come for the better. So that's the summary of that page that I was asking if it can be shared.
I'm
Do we
trying to share it, ma'am, in a few minutes. Please give me a few minutes.
okay. Do we have any questions meanwhile or comments? So we have a counselor, Miss Aramide Adedeji, on here. I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'm going to ask you to unmute and share with us in these situations, domestic violence, stalking, anything you'd like to add, please?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. O and Commissioner Nkechi. Thank you for your story. I think you shared it, some of it last year, and it's very it's very challenging because a lot of times people don't know that there are lots of forms of abuse, and women find themselves staying in abusive situations because if he is not hitting, then I can kind of deal with the other things going on, the emotional abuse, psychological, financial, and so on. And so I think platforms like these are important because it exposes that there's more forms of abuse than we think about. But as Commissioner Nkechi said, that silence is a killer. It is not golden in this kind of scenario. It is a killer. And silence on both ends, the abused and the community. A lot of times the community kind of looks away or they think that they shouldn't say anything. I think somebody said that, it's hard for people to intervene, things like that. But the whole point is that it is everybody's problem. I shared when I do trainings on domestic violence, I let people know the statistics on what it costs. Domestic violence is very expensive. In the United States, it costs the United States close to $1 billion to treat domestic violence situations. So that's people who are not able to work for whatever place of work that they are because they're being treated at the hospital, and then also the cost of treating those people in the hospital. So we're paying for it as a community as a whole when we all look away. So it is all of our problems. It is not just a certain community or a certain family or whatsoever. It is worth that much for us to intervene and to say something. And the last thing that I'll say is that one question I always get asked when I do a training on domestic violence is, well, what are we supposed to do? What can we do? People go back, people don't leave, those kind of things. The biggest thing that you can do as someone who is supporting someone who is in a domestic violence relationship is to be there. Never waver because you feel powerless. They need to know that that day, whenever they do decide to leave, that you have always been there and you will be there when they decide to leave. A lot of times people feel powerless, so they just kind of leave that person alone, but they need to know that their community is still intact for them. So let us speak up, speak out, and just extend love to those people that we already know right now are in those relationships. Let them know that they do still have a community and that you will be there when they're ready to leave and you will help them return back to whatever life existed before that relationship. Um, And I think that's it. I mean, I do a training on it, so I'm not going to hijack the whole time, but that's my 2 cents on the counseling side of it. That they still need. That was the biggest thing that helped me to have the people still be in my life who I needed at the time. So thank you, Dr. Earl.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You kicked this off for us last year, if you
I
remember.
did.
And you are a survivor and a conqueror. And you went into counseling and you
I
now
did.
give it. And see Nkechi now went into intervening to stop killings and to
Hmm.
change lives. So we are grateful for you all for coming out, for realizing, and at the point you decided to speak up, to speak up, so you are not statistics.
Hmm.
So thank you for all you do, and thank you for the lives you keep changing every day for the
Thank you,
better.
man.
So I hope everyone can see this. Can you see, Aramide, can you see the screen? I enlarged it. Okay, fantastic. So they have the Agric wing, and they will train 12 participants for that amount of money. Some people will learn leather, infotech, printing, soap and cosmetics, and the list goes on. I told you I remembered plumbing, hairdressing, and makeup, barbing, bakery, tailoring, entertainment wing, electrical workshop for 7 million, well, 7 million and 7,300,000 naira. And I was with my sister Lola yesterday when we saw this, and she quickly, translated it, or just figured out what it would be in dollars, and it's a little bit over $5,000. So, if you would like to donate to help these people to change their lives, Nkechi, you can pull it down.
Okay.
Yeah. If you like to donate to change their lives, you can donate through our nonprofit organization, Global Vision Foundation, and they are posted the link, gvfmissiontrips@gmail.com, because that way it will be tax deductible for you. And I pray that we can raise these funds. We saw videos and placards that they carried saying, Mrs. Nkechi, they called her Mrs. Nkechi, you promised to find us jobs. You promised us. Don't forget us. Please help us. We wish our government can step in also to assist, but we'll talk to people that can assist governmental wise too, to see what kind of help we can get there so that these people are situated. But we are thankful for somebody who has gone through domestic violence, stalking. Is a survivor, like I said before, and now reaching back out, now living a dream of changing lives. Thank you. Thank you, Nkechi.
Yeah, can I share a little bit about the job
Please.
to everyone? So this job thing is under the NAFRIC. NAFRIC is in Oshodi, where you have the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force go to train their officers who has served for 35 years and about to leave for 6 months. So they don't train civilians. They only train military people. So, and I was able to go there to talk to the commandant and to see if they could train those youths. Before I went to Nigeria, this young man, if you know Mushi very well, if you know Akala area, um, people from Idiaraba cannot go to Gumoko. They were killing themselves. I cannot show you pictures. It was really bad. And I was able to talk to the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, Mr. Moshood Jimo. We had a show of force I had to bring all these boys together. People were telling me, honestly, I don't know how I did it. You can't do it. You can't do it. These are tough boys. If you grew up in Mushi, you understand what I'm talking about. People were saying, no way, you, a girl, a woman, can do this. You understand? You can't stop them in any way. They will continue to kill themselves. To an extent, a young boy that just came back from his Muslim lesson was going to buy food, and a straight bullet killed that young boy who is 10 years old. So, and I kept having meeting, talking to people, talking to everyone. While I was there too to talk about my stalker issue, I do paper to disown this stalker saying that he's my husband. I had to go to newspaper and publish that, but I was still doing this. So we kept having meetings late at night. The Oba of Itire, if I had the way, I will post it to you guys to see the Oba of Itire, all of them praying for me, asking that, how did you do it? But it was God. So the army now, the commandant now said, okay, finally, Nkechi, we're going to agree. We want to support you on this. And out of the 100 skills that they have, they gave us 17. And that 17 is what you are seeing here. And I on a group that I have more than 500 youths. Some of them were scared to even come out, and some of them are in prison right now. And they are ready to change their life. I will really plead with you all, and whatever money that you donate to help these youths, you're going to see them. We're going to see it materialize in their life. Let's come together and make a change. The way you made a change in my life, bringing me out of the box that I was placed into, I also want us to come together and, bring this young men out of that violence, out of that cultism and gang, and give them a sustainable job to stay away from violence. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, I just remembered something about now Commissioner Nkechi Uzoegwu as speaker. She's actually a medical doctor, fully trained in Nigeria. And when she got here, because of domestic violence, inability to, to focus, inability to do the needful, take all the exams that needs to be taken to convert to practice medicine here, she was not able to do that. She focused on her son to make sure that her son thrived. And she's an impressive human being because despite that, she did not let this hold her down. Um, she's gotten master's degrees, right? Please tell us your credentials.
I have a degree in criminal justice, law enforcement, and correction, health science, my BA. I have my master's in um my master's in urban justice and also the teaching credentials. And now I am doing my induction to be a science educator in the state of California. So, and I have other degrees, but let's just keep it that way. Yes.
So you can see the passion or where she could have gotten that passion from. That even though she was going through pain and all of that, that she still did not lose that passion to help others. And because I've known her over the year, and oh my gosh, we've done so much together. I was surprised when she was being pulled from Lagos, from Mushin, to come intervene, to come help them. They remembered from past years, and she kept the relationship going. Despite everything she was going on here, she kept the relationship going. And when things got worse, I remembered when they said, please, you got to help us. We're gonna keep killing each other. and nobody cares. Nobody was caring. And she told me then that she wanted to go to Nigeria. She never told me when she finally made it, because she knows that I probably would have discouraged her, scared out of my wits that she wanted to go risk her life to do this. But she went, and that's the story. So this is success story, and we are grateful to God. So any questions or comments? People are quiet today, somber. I think we took too long, 2 weeks off. Or you were very clear. Well, I posted in the chat box if you like to donate. I'll send it out also. gvfmissiontrips@gmail.com is where you can donate to. Dr. Izugo, kindly go ahead. You have a question.
Yes, thank you. Welcome back all, Medical Monday. Thank you also for the wedding and you guys that attended. And Nkechi, thanks again for all you do. And we thank God for what happened to you. And I, recommend everybody and the courage you have to do what you do and also to share. And we should all just continue to look out and speak out when you see any type of violence, whether to woman or to man, because these things are hidden and we should all be open to discuss it and really, get involved as much as we can and remain safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Izugo. My day would come when I talk. I'm still working through it.
Not easy.
It's not
Not
easy.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a journey. Thank you
Indeed.
so much for that encouragement. We appreciate you.
Mm.
So, any other comments? Sister Abiba said her journey is amazing. 1 year after, she is coming back with more strength. We wish her all the best. A deliverer has been set free. Mm. A deliverer has been set free to set others free. Glory to God. Thank you so much for that comment. It's right on point, but it got me emotional. Wow. Isn't that the truth? A deliverer has been set free to set others free. Praise God. See what a stalker had scared. See what a stalker had done, the talent that the stalker had wanted to destroy. But God is good. Glory be to God. Yes, Sister Lola, that is deep. So, if there are no more questions and no more comments, we will call it a night and we'll see you next week. I encourage us all to stay safe. And yes, Alvin, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And it says, thank you for this incredible presentation, Commissioner. Thank you, sir, Mr. Duarte. Thank you so much, sir. So until we see next week, please be safe.
Bye, everybody.